Hey, it's Tim, Pickup Truck Plus SUV Talk, joined by the 5'1" of the world. It's Jill Simonello. Imagine that.
And the crowds go wild.
We're going a little early for you today. We have stuff going on. I apologize for those who can catch us later on the replay, but we just got stuff, right, Jill?
We got stuff, man.
We got lots of stuff.
We got stuff.
Jill, you just finished another podcast. Do you want to talk, or should I just take over this entire live stream?
Wait, like you normally do? I swear, every time like we like start talking, Tim's like, "Oh, and then I have this to say, and then I have this to say, and then what do you think, Jill? Wait, no, let me add into this."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right. Wait, you're just like chomping at the bit. What do you want to talk about, Tim? You're just waiting.
I am kind of waiting, as I do in some videos and things. Anyways, we have a lot of news for you tonight as far as kind of wrap things up last week and some NACTOY discussions and things we're thankful for.
Wait, we're thankful for things?
I was thinking we were, but now I think I made that. I have to edit the title, I think. Yeah, so Gene wants to know, how much coffee did you have?
You know what? I will say I am usually decaffeinated, but after Rebel, like I haven't decaffeinated yet. So because like Rebel, I was up at 3:30 a.m. every day. And so I drank a lot of coffee on Rebel, and so I'm slowly starting to wean myself off. I am down to just a cup a day at this point.
That's crazy.
And everything else is decaf.
Yeah. So yeah, that's interesting. Oh, Cherry T, by the way, we are not married. As a comment puts out, we are not married. I did a Pacifica video with my wife about 20 minutes ago, and she was like, "Yeah, I'm not Jill. I'm Tim's wife."
Tim's actual wife.
Tim's actual wife. Yes,
yeah.
But
my husband is at the gym, or else I would like pull him in. So maybe when he gets back, I'll have him pop in and say hello, because he'll probably come back while we are online.
I will give you the teaser that during we did the Toyota Tacoma drive, which I think we can talk about that. I don't think that's an embargo.
We can say we did it, but we can't
say we did it. We can't show any photos or videos or anything like that.
Coming November 28th.
Right. But one of the engineers did comment. He goes, "You guys sound like you're married." Remember that guy?
You argue like you're married, I think is what he said. And I was like, do married couples really argue?
But you know, it did come up in the LA Auto Show, sitting around having drinks in the hotel. Somebody did ask how long we've been doing this together, and I had not kind of put two and two together. So I do not recall, and I don't know if you recall the first time we met. It was some first drive event or auto show or something. I don't remember the exact moment.
No, but 2016 is when we did the first like podcast together,
and that lasted for about a couple of years. And then I wasn't getting money off of it, and I wasn't getting advertising, wasn't really going anywhere. So I switched to doing a lot of video. And then 2020 happened, and I needed Jill's help, and I obviously needed Jill's help all the time, anyways. But then I needed Jill and had some funds to pay Jill, so that's how that worked out.
Yeah. So we've been working together since 2016. So it must have been like 2000, because I like was off the travel circuit for a period of time when I was the social media director for Barrington Broadcast Group. But right around 2014 is when I started to travel again, when I picked up the automotive editor's job at Sinclair. So yeah, so I would say it was probably 2014, 2015 is when we had to have first met. And I bet it was probably at a Ford event.
Probably. Well, I don't know, actually, because back then I was managing editor at Tundra headquarters. And my first media event was the 2014 Tundra in, was it Jackson Hole? I think it was either Wyoming or someplace like that.
I was not on that one.
Right. So, I mean, that was kind of around the same time period. You started traveling again. I started actually doing more than just, at that time I was freelancing and I was doing more auto show stuff, but still managing editor. So that's kind of, yeah, it's been a while. It's been longer than a minute.
It's been a minute. I'm like, have I known you longer than I've known my husband? No, because 2014. I met my husband in 2012. My actual husband.
Yes, Jonathan.
Yes.
Still the best name on YouTube. Bunny Fart Loads wants to know, how is the new 2024 Tacoma? Would you guys be getting one for long-term review? They release the prices? No comment, no comment, no comment. So we really,
they've essentially put everything under embargo until November 28th. So we can tell you we drove it.
right, but I can't comment on long-term review. I can't comment that kind of stuff because it's all up in the air at this moment. So I really have nothing to share. People keep asking me, what's new truck can buy? What's new truck can buy? And I have some details, I think, of what I'm looking for, and I have a few things in place, but until I get to sign the contract and the paperwork and the sales contract, I don't know. And you know, it just, I don't have the answers. So sorry. And the thing is, let me explain embargo for a minute because I don't think everybody always understands this.
That's inside baseball.
Yeah, I've gotten this question quite a bit on different videos and things. So what happens here is every drive event, there's waves. A wave could be, what do you think? 10, 14 journalists, sometimes smaller, sometimes bigger waves.
Yeah.
And if you're listening to this on the podcast, I'm kind of doing air quotes as waves because it's just a weird way to say that. But basically, you have 3 to 4 different waves at some events. And what they do is they embargo things so that way everybody's got a fair chance to release information at the same time. So that way, right. That way, if you're on the first wave, you're not posting stuff. And then by the time the third or fourth wave gets there, you kind of lost all the thunder from it. People have already seen all the videos. And there was a few outlets that had to be first, and they always had to publish right away. And it has kind of caused this to become the industry norm, is that they're starting to more and more embargo every single detail because they're tired of that going on, tired of people bitching about stuff on third and fourth wave.
And I get it, but what really hacked me off about this specific embargo is like even social media was embargoed, and usually they'll let you show pictures, or you know, like I like to do TikToks where I will show the key or I'll like show the interior, and then all along what I'm doing is I'm asking people, hey, by the way, this is what else do you want to know? And so then like they'll give me ideas not only for other TikToks that I should put out there, but also, you know, for the video that I'm getting ready to do for YouTube that will be released on November 28th, or for the story that I'm getting ready to write that will go live on November 28th. And so I feel like I missed out on a whole opportunity to capture what people wanted to know about this vehicle. And I mean, I get it, but we were on the third wave, and I was like, still would have been okay if somebody had put like an Instagram post out there. It's not like, or TikToks, that wouldn't bother me because my audience is different than your audience is different than your audience. And as long as they're not doing drive impressions, like I feel like the playing field is still even.
Yeah. And what Jill and I discussed in that drive, and I guess my viewpoint on it is every automaker is still working through this. They haven't, there's been no consistency. That's been my bitch about it. There's no consistency, right? The best practices have not been developed yet. And so you'll see that from different times. You'll see all of a sudden all these vehicles go out. And yeah, as Gene says, teasers should be allowed. And I agree.
Teasers are allowed. And so like I if any of you follow me on Instagram, I did post a photo of the Tacoma from the event, but it was like this big. You know, like, and I blurred out the background and you could see like the truck this big. And I did do a you know, a TikTok where I showed the vehicle, but I was just like, hey, what do you want to know? So it wasn't me talking about the vehicle or anything like that. It was just like, this is what I'm going to be driving, ask me questions.
Before we get to NACTOY, we've had a couple of decent comments come through, and I want to bring these up because they kind of go together. And I do want to discuss this.
Is it this one that you wanted to bring up?
Tim is buying that Ridgeline. Don't let him fool you. No.
Wait, it's not that one?
Not that one.
Oh, maybe it was Gene's full of it tonight.
Tim and Jill are like cop partners. Yes, we there is that. Keystone Cop's probably in a different way.
But no, not that. Not either of those.
No. Okay. No, there's two that go together. And one is about one person says, just stop the EV push, love your shows, but turn off when you're talking EVs. Okay. We've kind of seen that in the views. But another person says, Mr. says, I wish YouTubers would discuss all this new tech due to emission requirements is making vehicles cost more and probably less reliable. And I want to bring that up because it's something that I've heard for decades now. It's something that people think about right now. EV push to make things more, unreliable or different things going on. And I've made no secret about this. My dad's worked at GM for 39 years or whatever, how many years it was. And he always pointed out that it wasn't the technology that was causing the thing; it was mandatory safety equipment, right? So backup cameras now are mandatory throughout
Yeah.
the automotive market. Well, automakers just don't absorb that cost and say, "Hee hee, we're going to price the vehicle the same at what it was before." They're going to push that price on, right? And so that was kind of his complaint. And so, yes, there's regulatory pressures that push automakers to develop technology, like we're seeing in more emissions requirements things. And it's interesting because his comment is, and I guess I need to put more time to look closely. His comment is all this new tech due to emissions requirements. And so let's talk about this. The technology emissions requirement is going to be cylinder deactivation, auto
Yeah.
start stop, turbos,
I'm like,
hybrid
start is
technology.
my favorite feature.
Yeah, hybrid technology, plug-in hybrids, things like that. But that's it. The other new tech that you're not bringing up here is every vehicle these days has a gigantic TV screen, for a better
Oh,
way of saying it, right? I
and that has
mean,
nothing to do with emissions. But
no,
like the infotainment screen in the center stack, the 12.3-inch.
right. Digital dashes. Digital dashes have become the norm right now. Adaptive cruise control, super cruise. I mean, those are all things that, yeah, we can focus just on the engine. That's kind of unfair because there's so much more going on in the vehicles that's driving up cost, right? And then we
Well,
have,
and I want to say, even though it's driving up costs, like, oh, the 11.3-inch, 12.3-inch screen is an available feature. Well, if you think that they're only passing the cost of that screen onto the vehicles that have that screen, no, 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 you're paying more for the 8-inch screen, the base 8-inch screen as well, because otherwise, it doesn't balance out. So, I mean, even though a lot of these, like Super Cruise, the screens, the Google powered operating system, the blind view monitoring in Hyundai vehicles, even though that stuff is available, you're paying for it in the base model as well because you've got to spread the cost out.
and look at the new Tacoma, for example, or no, excuse me, the new Jeep Wrangler. They made that bigger screen now standard across lineup. There is no smaller screen anymore, right? So there is no consumer choice, which that's something that we've talked a lot about on this channel. I've spoken a lot about is that I want more consumer choices, and that's the part we're losing. Now,
Yeah.
I would flip this around to you and say, have you driven a new vehicle? That'd be my question for you, because if you've driven a new vehicle, yes, emission requirements stink. Yes, I get that. I appreciate that. I understand that frustration. But my God, they're so much better. My goodness, it's so much better, right? So like my 62C10 has a standard naturally aspirated V8 in it, right? 375 horsepower. It's got none of that other stuff, right? And it is slow. It's so slow compared to my 3-liter Silverado, or compared to the Chrysler Pacifica minivan. The minivan is much quicker than my Silverado, my C10 is, right? So if you're looking at a vehicle and saying, my goodness, why are we doing direct injection and 10-speed transmissions and CVTs? Have you not driven them? A vehicle today is not even close to vehicle it was 5-10 years ago, new vehicles. The
Yeah.
driving experience is a lot different. So yes, you have some good and bad. Yes, I understand that your frustration with all this new equipment, and you're saying probably less reliable. I would challenge you in reliability as well. I've seen it from many customers who are talking about, well, turbos are unreliable. Guys, we've had turbos for 10 years. And Jill and I have done studies on this. We've done deep dives. We've gone through the consumer feedback on this stuff. We've gone through the car complaints. We've gone the NHTSA recalls. And you know what we find? The V8s are less reliable. The
Yeah.
turbos are actually better. And yes, your neighbor's cousin's sister's boyfriend's husband replaces turbos in a 750. I get it. And it does happen. I'm not
Yes,
saying
Nissans back in 2013 did have a problem with their CVTs.
yes, and CVTs have, and the thing is, you want to talk about this? Jill and I have discussed CVTs on multiple vehicles, and we hate them. So we flat out hate them. So
They're
the Pathfinder,
and they're like,
oh,
yeah.
and the new, for example, the new Pathfinder now has a geared transmission versus CVT, and it's so much better. It's so much better.
Yeah, it's got the
So,
9-speed transmission.
right, yeah. So I would push back on you a little bit. I understand your frustration where you're coming from, and vehicles have gotten more expensive, but
The average
have
transaction price for a new vehicle today is $48,000.
right. And one thing I talk about though is go look at and do this for research. If you want free time, whatever holidays, because your family's driving you nuts. Trust me, I'm with you there. Go look at a 2014 or 2016 Ford F-150 XLT versus a 2023 Ford F-150 XLT. The Ford XLT today is like a Lariat inside the cabin versus the XLT back in the day. So not only have vehicle prices increased, but the standard features have changed dramatically. And so, yes, I understand the frustration. And the reality comes down to this. When consumers stop buying them at that price point, they will stop building them. Do you know how many? I was thinking about this the other day. In my neighborhood, I've seen a couple different Grand Wagoneers and a couple new Wagoneers.
Mm.
A Grand Wagoneer is tipping six figures.
Oh yeah, it's like Escalade territory.
Right. I mean, and I have a video to publish. Escalade. What do you call that thing? You drove it, the really fast one with the big.
I,
V series. The V.
Yeah,
The
Escalade V. Yeah.
Yeah, it's $150,000 for an Escalade at that price point.
And there are no climate controls in the rear seat.
Yeah, and I took my dad and my stepmom in it, and they wanted to buy one. like I'm just like, holy cow. So yeah, I mean I think this is that I think that the engine's never been more reliable. The challenge with the engines is not the engine itself, it's the pieces bolted to the engine that have people concerned. And yes, when you have to raise the entire body off a full-size truck to get to a turbo, it sucks. But the thing is, full-size trucks Ford's been doing it for the last decade, are designed for the cab and the whole front clip to come off. Why? Pop the hood in a new vehicle. There's no way you're working on that. There's just Jill's got small hands, and she'd be hard pressed to get her hands all the way back in to fix stuff because you're just not doing it. So I don't know.
There's vehicles like Mercedes won't even let you pop the hood on their vehicle.
Right.
Like there's a special mechanic key that you need to be able to look under the hood. They don't want you to touch anything.
And that frustrates me too.
Thing on the side for your windshield washer fluid, and that's it. That's all you get.
Yeah, I mean, and again, I'm not dismissing your comment here, but my 62, I love driving my 62. I actually drove it yesterday. I was driving to the store. It's funny. I was taking some photos of it because I was thinking about taking photos because I took it to Walmart and got groceries. And I was parking next to these really brand new vehicles. I'm like, we're doing the same job. But I thought, well, that's gonna be a little snarky, so I didn't post any comments. But
snarky, that never happens.
Yes, me never. But no, I mean, I understand frustration, but again, vehicle sales have never been. I mean, we're looking at another big year for vehicle sales, even with interest rates being really high. Customers come to me, viewers on this channel come to me all the time, and they'll get in the vehicle and they're like, "What the heck? I can't buy this, whatever." So for example, I had the Tundra. Last year, I had the 2022 Toyota Tundra long-term vehicle, 3.5 liter V6 turbocharged engine. And I had a viewer in the area, follows the channel, and he wanted to stop by and drive it. He has a 2007 Land Cruiser. He likes it, but he's ready to upgrade. It's been a good vehicle for a long period of time. And I swear to you, he got in that Tundra, and he was like, this is a little V6. How can it be that good? And he drove it and came back and goes, holy cow, that's got tons of torque and tons of horsepower. Yeah. I mean, I get your frustration. I hear it all the time. And here we go. I am discussing it, and I will tell you that yes, the problem with new vehicles comes down to this: they're more expensive to buy, and if something goes wrong, they're really expensive to fix.
However, and you can't do it yourself. You just can't do it yourself.
You can't do it yourself. No, you can't. You really can't fix it yourself. And however, the flip side of the argument is they're so much better. Fuel economy is better. Overall performance is better. And forget the emission stuff. Like that's the thing I try to get at people's heads. Forget the emissions. We've been dealing with emissions. I want to say since Carter was in office in '76 when CAFE started. But we've been dealing with emission stuff since Obama made a big decree back in 2012, and Trump tried to change things. Nobody changed it because once you get this $1 trillion auto industry on a certain path, good luck changing it, right? So I mean, it's just where we're at these days. It's just what it is at this point. And I don't see any way going back because again, once you get behind the wheel, it is impressive. All right. So speaking of behind the wheel, I don't want to get too out of the weeds. We were there in LA, and I will get the press release a little bit higher up on my screen. I cut the words off here. We were there at the LA Auto Show. and NACTOY. NACTOY. What is that, Jill? Is that like a special toy from Lego?
I know, right? Well, it was the North American Car of the Year was the original. That's where NACTOY comes from. But it is now like the North American Car, Truck, and Utility of the Year.
So are we going to get NAC U-Toy?
I don't even know what you would say to NAC. Well, it'd have to be NAC.
Toy
Yeah. You toy car NACTOY. I don't know. Sorry.
So I'm going to ask you, because you are about the best source we have, because I believe you're on a juror for this. I think it's somebody Birdie told me that's my shoulder.
Maybe. I don't know. Kind of. Yeah.
All right.
So we'll skip the car stuff and we'll go straight into the truck and utility.
Hold on. I'm letting you talk, but you need to give us the backstory here. Why is there finalists? Why was it LA? What's going on?
Backstory. All right. Let's see. So there's this award that happens every year, and there is a car, a truck, and a utility vehicle that wins. There are 50 people who are on this jury. There's North American automotive journalists. So there's a couple people from Canada. There's some people, I believe, who live in Mexico who are on the jury. And then, the bulk of it is people who are in the United States. And diverse backgrounds, diverse publications. You have people who I think are, maybe there's some road and track and car and driver types on there, but then you have people like me who, I work for Tim and do the pickup truck and SUV talk. I also have the Consumer Guide automotive stuff that I do. And then I have my TikTok stuff. So I think they consider me an influencer. I don't know. But I've got, a different kind of background and perspective. And there's younger people, older people. So 50 journalists pick these awards. And the idea is you're looking at something that pushes the automotive spectrum forward. So you're looking for something cool in terms of technology, design, something like that. But you're also, because, this is supposed to be representative of the people, you're also looking for something that is going to be affordable. So you're looking for something that's cool and something that, isn't going to, you don't have to cut off your left arm to be able to afford it. Is that enough background information?
Sure. So why did they unveil these in LA? Because isn't this usually a Detroit Auto Show thing?
No. So what you do is you go through a couple of different phases. So at first, like in starting in January, we will start to prepare a list of all of the new vehicles for the 2024. So you look at something that is significantly new or significantly refreshed. So next generation vehicles, or something that has had like a significant facelift, powertrain change, something like that. So you look, and this is why, side note, this is why Tesla has never been included in these awards, at least not on an ongoing basis. So like Cybertruck would have been eligible this year to be on it, but none of us have driven it. So it didn't get voted through to the finalists. But like Model 3, Model Y, Model S, Model X, those vehicles are just continuous improvement, not like big sweeping changes. So they like, other than the first years they came out, they haven't made it to the list again. So
that's you know what, Jill, that's really good to know. I was kind of curious about that myself.
Yeah. So you start with a list of everything that's new, and then in I guess it was October. We actually before October. So I think at the Detroit Auto Show, maybe we did our first round of voting, where you get then a semifinalist list, and then you have 6 trucks, 6 cars, 6 SUVs, and then at LA you vote again, and then you've got 3, 3, and 3, and then we'll vote again, and the finalists or the winners will be announced it used to be at the Detroit Auto Show. Now it will be announced in January at a separate event.
Okay. So let's go through these. So this was done in LA, and so they were sitting outside, and we walked by them, and we thought, let's do a video. Then I thought, you know what?
Okay, this is an old press release that you're looking at.
Okay. I don't know if there's a new one. Should I do new
There
one?
is. Go to the main website. I'm like, why do you have? So click read that. There you
Okay,
go.
sorry, I didn't know it. I
Oh,
was
like,
looking.
looking at the old press release, I'm like, why is the Nissan Z on there?
Okay, so this is much more condensed too. It's much nicer. Oh, I see. That's why we discussed earlier offline about the utility. I was wrong on my list. So this is the 2024 North American Truck of the Year, and Utility of the Year. And who cares about those cars?
Meh, Karshmars.
Cares about.
But so you probably want to spend the bulk of your time talking about the truck of the year. So I'm like, do I have anything that has? So in terms of, I keep a spreadsheet. Surprise. In terms of the original like trucks, so Cybertruck was on there. You had obviously, you know, Toyota Tacoma was initially on the list, but they aren't going to have deliveries in this model year, in theory, or at least not like it's not going to be really open for dealership sales in this model year. So it will be eligible for next year. Then you had another page here. Ford Ranger was originally on the list, but they aren't going to have any sales this year. So that was removed. You've got the Colorado, the Silverado EV, the Super Duty, Canyon, and I think the Canyon, and then you had, like I said, the Cybertruck, and then yeah. So at any rate, this is essentially what is new for this year, and like Cybertruck was, I think, really the only one that is making deliveries this year that like isn't on this list because nobody drove it, frankly.
Yeah, so let's do that. I have one more comment from Mr. Mister. He said he owns several of the vehicles and he just doesn't trust them to go 200,000 miles. And I find it interesting because we didn't trust vehicles when it first came out to go 200,000 miles. Like
Okay,
in
so
my
you just did a very big tangent here. Like I
hold
would
on,
wait until
hold on.
we're done.
I'm coming back. I'm coming back full. Let me come
Okay.
back full circle. Let me come back full circle. Is that, you know, when the Chevy Colorado, we didn't think it would go 200,000 miles when it first came out. Now we know things are a little bit different, and we still have to wait things turning out. So that means on this list, when we talk about affordability and talk about things going on, that's why the list is what's new this year, and not always based on reliability. I kind of sort of didn't come back to that.
That has nothing to like. I have no idea what you just did there.
Okay, let's go to Chevy Colorado first. I have the really cool gifts.
No. I have to go back and like I don't understand what you just did there. No, this list has
So
nothing
I mean,
to do.
my point of view is this: is that people don't trust new vehicles to be reliable, but we didn't think that the older vehicles were reliable until we had years of knowledge of them, right? And so the Colorado's new this year, but the prior generation Colorado did not have didn't get a chance to get 200,000 miles. It never got to that point. It got refreshed before then, got a new engine before then. So if you're going, hey, is the new Colorado going to be reliable? We have no idea because the engine hasn't got, it's such a new thing because vehicles are becoming so new so often. So look at this list. The Colorado's got a whole new powertrain. The Silverado EV.
I have no idea what you're doing here. Like I'm so confused about what you just did here.
Okay, so let me just go back. So let's go back to the list.
Okay, wait, but hold on before you go. Like, my husband just texted me. He's on his way home from the gym. So yes, we did just. Yeah, he left at like 4:30, so that was an hour and a half. But so let me try and close the loop for you because I don't think you did a very good job, but I think I understand what you were trying to say. Where you're saying this list here is about what's new, not about what's reliable. Although I will say you could take into consideration whether or not you think something is going to be reliable as to whether or not you would vote it through. Like,
wait.
so
Wait. I want to talk about this a little bit more because you know I have issues with NACTOY at times. So what's criteria again for NACTOY? It's affordability. It's significantly refresh change.
According to the spreadsheet that I have created, I'm looking at innovation, design, safety technology, performance, just technology in general, user experience, satisfaction, and then value. So like that, those are the things that I've like been like rating vehicles on. So innovation, I would say innovation in design, innovation in safety, innovation in, technology, but it's also going to be user experience. It's going to be, it could be performance, but to me, another big satisfaction. So reliability is not on this list, but I think that satisfaction would go towards reliability. But then I think also another big part of the conversation has to be value, or as Underscore says, affordability. I think that has to be a part of the conversation when you're looking at a vehicle of the year, in my opinion.
Right, and you and I had a discussion about this at the LA Auto Show as well, as far as affordability. But let me ask you, I'm going to be, I guess we're on tangent tonight, but this is something you brought up. Do you think reliability needs to factor into overall car reviews?
I think that if there is a big reliability issue, I think you would be remiss if you didn't mention it. So whenever I'm talking about Nissans and it has a CVT in it, I do bring up the CVT and reliability because in 2013, Nissan CVTs were not good and they were failing like crazy, but they fixed the problem. And so invariably, whenever I write a vehicle about a Nissan, people are like, but it has a CVT, they're not reliable. I'm like, they were not reliable in 2013. Welcome to 2023. So, and I even wrote an article on our website about, are Nissan CVTs reliable? Google that.
And it actually did really well. It's a top video.
Yeah, because so if there's something that a vehicle is known for having problems for, or if there is a known issue, I think it's definitely worth mentioning in a review. But all cars have issues.
So but I don't want to degrade our colleagues, but I think you and I,
our colleagues, go.
Well, I think you and I have a focus on reliability because of certain articles done well. We've done a lot more research, and reliability is a huge topic for me too. And it kind of gets me fired up, which I'm sorry, Mr. Mister, but it just gets me fired up. So, but most journalists, I would say, don't have a freaking clue about reliability.
And I don't we look at reliability of the big vehicles. We do regular stories about is the Toyota Tundra reliable? Is the the Ram 1500 reliable? And so we do big overarching, and we also when new trucks or vehicles come out, and reminds me we need to a round of these. What are the known problems with blank? So we have the Colorado that has some known problems. I don't know if we've got any known problems with the Ford Super Duty yet. And I'm going to say that nobody's actually seen the Silverado EV to know if there are problems. But yeah, so
yeah. I think you and I do a good job on that. And I would pat ourselves on the back that we actually pay attention to that, but I don't think that our colleagues do. Underscore says, is anything affordable in 23, 24?
Yeah.
I'm
going to say the Volvo EX30 is affordable.
Well, I will say this. I think there's lots of vehicles that are affordable in the context of the current automotive market.
Yes, I think that's good.
Right. If you somebody, Nathan over at TFL Studios, my friend Nathan, he always does an Ask Nathan thing, and some contractor asked him about a $10,000 Toyota pickup being developed in the Middle East, in Asia or something like that. A bare bones, basically roll up windows kind of deal. And they're like, why can't the United States? It could be just cheap and a cheap little truck, whatever. We need that. And that's affordable. And I'm like, and Nathan pointed out, he goes, American consumers would never buy that. You think they would buy that, but the automotive marketplace has shown us that people are willing to spend money. People buy the top trim levels. They really do. If you look at the video, it's always funny because people are like, man, I'll never buy that $90,000 Ford truck, whatever. Super Duty is going to be fully loaded platinum, whatever. And then I do a video on it, and you guys watch the living hell out of that video. The GMC Sierra heavy duty 2500 AT4, I think it was that thing like 85,000? I forget the number on it. That video exploded.
Well, but so that's going to be more about what, let me dream. It's like why I look at $1 million houses on Zillow. I'm never going to be able to afford $1 million house.
Right. But that's what, yeah, exactly. So I mean, it's like one of those things. It's like, you guys are watching all those videos. You're driving the views up, which means automakers are going, hey, people are watching this stuff. They want this stuff. They keep developing the stuff. And I mean, I was talking to GMC about that. Duncan Alfred is the VP. And he was like, we talk about in the office all the time. We don't know what the limit is. We don't know what the limit of affordability is. And so look at this. So it's back to affordability, because Jill and I are talking about this quite a bit. The Silverado EV is the only version we've seen, the only version I've ever actually seen in person is a work truck. And that was like $80,000 work truck, whatever the deal was. You could buy 2 gasoline work trucks for the price of 1 EV work truck. And the EV work truck had tons of plastic inside, tons of stuff inside. And so, Jill, this is interesting to me because out of this list, you've seen all these trucks. You've been around them enough. You've been inside of them. But I mean, has anybody driven the RST version of the Silverado EV? Because I know you guys do. You guys do. Let me ask you this: you do the NACTOY Fall Drive, is it, or something like that?
Yep.
So out of this list, what was there?
The Silverado EV work truck was there. So all of these vehicles, all of these vehicles were at the drive.
Okay.
And so like sometimes like the new vehicles have events, we get to drive them there. Sometimes we have home loans and we get to drive them at home. So a week test. But sometimes when you have a vehicle like the Silverado EV, maybe I think they had a very short drive program that nobody got invited to. So sometimes the only opportunity you have to drive the vehicles is at this like drive where they have all the vehicles available. And so I drove it at for 20 minutes on a loop in Ann Arbor, Michigan. To me, I don't know that that's enough time to be able to vote properly on it. But is it innovative? Yep. Is the design good? You know what? I like some of the design features. The mid-gate option I think is pretty cool. The performance is good. The safety and the technology is there. The user experience is definitely there. In terms of satisfaction, from my personal standpoint, as a petite driver, no height adjustable seat. So that to me is problematic. Not satisfied with that at all. But it's the value and the affordability that's going to get me on that truck.
Okay, so
does everything else outweigh that?
Yeah. So what about I mean, I guess we're kind of going through these. I had some videos queued up, but this is more interesting to me to tech to you. The Chevrolet Colorado. So let me understand this here. So Colorado gets in, but the GMC Canyon does not.
So, and you know what? I was not a part of the selection process for the vehicles in the beginning, and it was supposed to be on the list.
Jill,
and I have to imagine
that do you have a spreadsheet on that?
Well, I mean, my own personal spreadsheet that I created because I'm a nerd. But no, I mean, I have a feeling that Colorado made it and Canyon didn't because of the affordability feature. Because you can get like a base truck for less than that would just be my guess.
So,
yeah, okay. Almost considered the same. So, I mean, so you've got the Colorado, which had a significant update, design and technology, and the engine, the powertrain was a significant change for this year with the engine tuning. This is considered a new generation, right?
Yeah, it has to be new generation. There's just far too many changes. The engine tuning is still interesting to me. That after so if you don't know, in 2023 this vehicle launched. And 24, after just 3 months in the marketplace, they dropped the mid-tune. They just went to high output. So people have bought the first generation, had to go to dealerships and spend $500 or so to get a tune done. And now it's like, huh. Jill has a t-shirt that says, hang on, I got a spreadsheet for that.
I should have that t-shirt. I do have a t-shirt that says Little Miss Bossy on it. Does that count?
Yes. I've actually seen that t-shirt. So, so you have Chevrolet Colorado.
And then you have the Super Duty. Is the Super Duty is that a refresh or is that new generation?
See, I would call the Super Duty refresh. They only have the new they have a new engine. The V8, I believe, is changed now. They have a new entry-level V8 engine, which they're very coy with why it exists. And then they got the numbers out and like, this is why it exists. I'm like, I did not understand. I still am mystified by what Ford was doing with that and why they're being so weird about it.
So I will have you pause for a second because my actual husband just walked through the door And
Oh, the actual husband. Is he
the
here?
actual husband, so I will have him come over and just like peek his head in and say hello. So you can see I do not have a snuffleupagus. Like you.
Hi.
I have a real husband. This is
Yes.
him.
Okay. All right. So we've clarified.
Work out with me.
Oh
And
no,
you could go away again.
I'm a little concerned. I would not be able to walk if I worked out with that man.
Chicken.
So or
He
lift
says
there.
hi, husband. But yeah, so that's my actual husband. So okay, so Super Duty. So I mean, kind of what we wanted to do with this is I'm just kind of curious. If you were voting, people, what truck do you think speaks to you the most?
And again, the criteria again is it 5 things: affordability, innovation, significantly
Design.
refreshed,
Yeah,
design, safety. Okay.
Yeah, so performance, technology, innovation, value.
Okay. So with those criteria, which one are you choosing? So that's the trucks. And again, we've either
And
been
by
in.
the way, I haven't decided my vote yet. Not that I can be bought or sold or influenced. I've driven the Colorado a lot. I'm getting this Super Duty coming in a couple of weeks. So I'm going to see if I can get my hands on the EV again. But I'm still in the process of figuring out.
But Jill, I thought these awards were bought by publishers and money, and I thought automakers paid money and bought these awards.
I cannot be bought.
No.
Although I do need a new. No, I'm kidding. No, I cannot be bought. I need time with the vehicle.
Yeah, I can clarify that. So let's move along because I am curious about this list here. So we have the utility of the year.
Oh, who was it that tunes out whenever we talk about EVs? Please don't tune out. Don't tune out yet.
No, yeah, a lot of people. So no. I have some points on this. Trust me, I have some points on this.
Oh, we're gonna have a Tim rant coming up.
Yes, I have a big Tim rant on this. So I have 2 Tim rants. First Tim rant is, what the hell is a utility? That's the stupidest freaking name I've ever seen. And I've talked to, I know a few leadership members of NACTOY. I don't know them all, but I know a couple of them. And I've said to them, what the hell is a utility? Like, excuse me, insert an F in there instead, because I do not understand that. Customers don't understand that. It is the most ridiculous term for a vehicle I've ever heard. Why don't you say SUV? Why don't you say call it an SUV? Just call it an SUV. Just be done with it. Why you got to be so complex in your terminology and so nerdy? Just absolutely freaking nerdy.
Okay, so you know what the U in SUV means, right?
Yes, but still, it's just dumb. It's absolutely dumb.
Why is that dumb?
It's just dumb. Nobody knows, because customers don't know what it is. Consumers don't know what it is.
Okay, so that's the other thing that I need you all to comment on then. Do you know what a utility vehicle is? I'm going to say yes, people know what a utility vehicle is.
Blah.
But here's the thing. You've got a car, you've got a truck, then you've put everything else in utility. And
you have an SUV.
Okay. No, you put wait, where's the SUV on here? It's utility.
Okay, so that's number 1 rant. Hey, you don't agree with my rant or disagree with my rant. I'm just saying that's my rant because I just don't like that term.
I think you're weird.
You're
calling that stupid?
That's okay. I'm in Nebraska. I can be weird. So Genesis electrified GV70, Kia EV9, Volvo EX30, they all have asterisks, which indicates an electric vehicle. And I have a funny story about the Volvo I'll get to in a minute. So I've been in 2 of these. I've not been in the EV9. You've been in the EV9. So yeah, should I get to my funny stories?
EX30 yet either?
No, wasn't that the Volvo we were in?
That was something else. C40, yeah.
So let me back up for a minute. And let me tell you my stories, because as my sons tell me, my oldest son tells me, Dad, your videos are boring, but your stories are good. That's what he said. Your stories are good. So I was like, all right. And Jill gives me the look on her face. But we were how can
your stories be good, but your videos are boring?
Yes, stories be good. I don't know why I said
your videos.
He likes my stories. Anyways.
Okay.
So the stories are that the Volvo, we were having dinner with a group of journalists that Jaws, we can say Jaws. I think I'm going to be supportive.
Jewish Auto Writers Association.
Jewish Auto Writers. Yeah. So there's a Jewish Auto Writers Association, which I don't know why I maybe because of Jill or some weird connection, 7 Degrees of Kevin Bacon. I get invited to these, and I enjoy them. I enjoy the group of people there. I enjoy the people. We have good conversations. We went to a Chinese dinner. We had a good dinner, and what's great about this is Jill's worked with me for so long that Jill phoned ahead, ordered wine and whiskey before I got there, which was fantastic. So that worked out.
We have to tell you the name of this place though, because it's hilarious.
Oh yes, sorry.
It was Genghis Cohen. I just find that hilarious. So by the way, like my husband is Jewish, which is why I get invited to the Jewish Auto Writers Association, and then I invite
I get
him.
dragged along. That's what's going to happen. All right. So we had a nice dinner. As we're leaving, the Volvo rep, who's a really nice guy, decides to give us a ride back because we had taken an Uber over. Was it a Corolla or something or other? Something I couldn't get out of. It was just not my thing. Anyways, we get in there's 5 of us in this vehicle. And my first question is, okay, what is this? Now, I know that sounds a weird. Auto journalist doesn't know what this is. It's a Volvo. I get one Volvo every decade. And I know people are going to be snotty about this. I pay attention to trucks, and I really do. And Jill does these videos, and she does the EX30 in Spain. She does Volvos in Sweden and stuff. And I
drive
them.
the Volvo C40 in Chicago and take you to the airport in it. Yes.
And so she actually took me to the airport in this thing, and I don't remember this stuff. You get me in a truck, I remember the truck I'm in. But you give me an SUV, especially, I'm sorry, but an EV SUV, I just don't remember. I don't remember. They all have about the same driving characteristics.
This is why you need me, because I remember and I like these things.
Right. And so that's why we're, what did we say? Cop partner or something like that. So yes, I did not recall.
You missed it.
What?
Good cop, bad cop.
Yes. Well, I'm the bad cop in the situation here. So I don't remember these things. I mean, that's my issue with EVs. Is they all drive numb. The driving experience doesn't really, not all. Excuse me. Jill's going to correct me here. I can tell she's teeing it up right now. She's like, oh, I'm going to correct that Tim guy.
Why aren't you generalizing?
So there are some good driving EVs. There are some poor driving EVs.
I mean, I can say all people from Nebraska are numb.
VW84 is terrible. So
terrible. We agree on that.
Right. So I did not know these things, but my issue is that the Chevy Trax was new this year. The Dodge Hornet was new this year. And yet the Trax, you talk about affordability, and if you've not been in a Trax, and that's in your videos, the Trax is freaking good.
Yeah.
It's really, and even Jill agreed with me in the video. As much as she had to take the stake out of her heart, and she had to just admit to it.
I gotta agree with him again.
Oh my goodness. It was just so, she had really fought with herself on that one. But the Trax is really good. And
from the user experience, the technology, the only thing that's wrong with the Trax in my book is the fact that it doesn't have all-wheel drive available.
Yeah, and I agree. And that's why we bought a Trailblazer over the Trax, because of the all-wheel drive. And it's funny because the Trax people, or the marketing guy, whatever, program director, whatever they call this guy, said that people weren't buying the all-wheel drive anyways. They just killed it. And I'm like, well, we didn't buy it because it didn't have all-wheel drive. So I don't know where he's getting his information from. But yeah, I actually like the Trax over the Trailblazer, except for all-wheel drive. And in my area, I'm just not going to put my wife and 2 kids through a front-wheel drive. It's just not. It's a non-starter. It's not going to happen. So yes. So we have these 3 EVs, which again, people are tuning out. I have to
admit, I was very surprised that the SUV category was all EVs. I mean, but let's be clear. All 3 of these vehicles are great, but everything on the semi-finalist was also great.
See, I'm not surprised, because you look at publications these days, and NACTOY is not a publication, but still voting, journalists voting, they freaking love EVs. And I'm not on board with that. And so but that's what happens. And so, the audience is not watching EV videos. They don't care about the EVs. People aren't buying them. They're sitting at dealer lots. There's a huge problem. And most of especially my EV advocate friends, are like, well, consumers are just stupid. Consumers don't know what's good for them. Consumers just don't understand. I don't understand either. I tried to buy my wife. My wife is a perfect candidate for an EV. We tried to go buy one. They're so expensive. You talk about affordability. None of these vehicles, I'm going to throw out there, probably none of them are affordable versus a gas version.
I think the Volvo EX30 is incredibly affordable. As a luxury SUV, $35,000 with a lot of standard technology and features, I think that is probably the most affordable vehicle on this list, frankly. Other than the Honda Accord, which I think is also pretty affordable. But looking at the SUVs, like I think the Volvo EX30 like nails the affordability piece, nails it. And I think for the Kia EV9, for what it is, 3-row family SUV, and I haven't looked at the price of this for a while, but I feel like it's $55,000. Like that to me is also on the money in terms of pricing for a family vehicle. Now the Genesis electrified GV70 is stunningly beautiful, gorgeous inside and out, but probably not. I mean, I would say for a luxury vehicle, it's very affordable.
Okay.
And I don't know what the pricing is. I like don't have that in front of me, but like if you would look at a comfortably equipped BMW, it would be far less than that. So
Okay, Jill, we got 10 minutes left. Let's we're gonna do speed
like,
mode
let's
here.
wrap this up. Okay,
Yeah. So which
EVs
one?
No.
Yeah, go ahead.
EVs aside, if you had to vote for one of the SUVs, also comment on that. So you've got the Genesis electrified GV70, the Kia EV9, and the Volvo EX30. We have videos and stories on all three of these. And I will say that when I drove the Kia EV9, it was literally the best car that I'd driven up to that point. And I might argue that the Volvo EX30, like after I drove that, when you figure in the price tag, that was also pretty awesome. So
let's give me your assumption here. If you were to think about the NACTOY audience, NACTOY stuff, NACTOY jurors, who wins?
So, and this is not how I'm voting. I don't know how I'm voting yet, but I would have to say, and I'm going to start with the cars, even though I know you don't care about that. But I think Ioniq 6. I think EVs will sweep it. I think it'll be Ioniq 6. I think it'll be the Silverado EV. And I think it'll be to toss up between EV9 and EX30, but I kind of think it's going to be EV9.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that we agree on that one because I think most journalists these days, and when I've talked to them, it's deer in the headlights about the EVs. It's so cool.
Here's the thing. You are being a bit of a jerk right now because here's the thing. Like the reason why people are excited about EVs and the reason why they vote for them is because the technology and the the idea of the, like, if you took the EV propulsion out of it, it's still and I was going to use the F word there, it's still a flipping cool vehicle. Like you look at the Kia EV9 and you take the EV-ness out of it, like that's still a really cool vehicle. And the same goes for the EX30 and the GV70. So I think that you are like this and you're like, I hate EVs, they're stupid, and journalists are stupid because they're voting for them. Well, take the EV-ness out of it and look at the vehicle as what it is, and then tell me it's stupid. Because I mean, I think even when you look at the Silverado EV, like it has a whole bunch of other technology and cool features, EV-ness aside from it, that make it appropriate to be on the list. So you're going like this with your blinders, and I don't think that's a fair assessment.
I've been in them. I just don't agree. All right, so moving on. LA Auto Show, lots of stuff going on there, except for not a lot of reveals. We do have a Subaru Forester and a Hyundai. Is it Santa Fe XRT?
Yes.
I can't remember. It was Santa Fe or was it something else?
Santa Fe.
It was Santa Fe. Okay. What's the trio they have? I want to say Telluride, but it's not Telluride. It's
What are you trying to say?
The Telluride version of the Hyundai Palisade. I was trying to.
What are you trying to say?
Yeah. No. I was creating the folders today to separate these videos out because my freaking memory card was full. And I couldn't remember if it was the Palisade or the Santa Fe. That's what I was trying to remember in my head. Which one it was? So it was the Santa Fe was there. XRT is coming. XRT just an off-road version of it, right? It's just got more.
Yes. It has like a 1.5 inch lift. It has better towing capability. It has black accents, a little bit more cladding. 30-inch tires, all-terrain tires.
Yeah, and there's a Lucid there too.
The Lucid Gravity.
Right, but I thought that price point was really high, but I read a story today that said it was like started at 50 or 80,000, something like that.
80,
no,
it's 80.
It's 80. Okay. I was like, I
Like
knew
it's
it was
80. It's
yeah, I
high.
thought it was way more than that because their car is like six figures, I thought.
No, it's not 6. I mean, here's the thing. They say it starts at 80, but they are going to pull a Tesla, and the $80,000 vehicle will not be available for like 3 years.
Okay,
So
so
you will, I mean, most automakers do that. They give you the high-end vehicle so that you can eventually like bring it to the masses and make the vehicle that doesn't cost as much, though $80,000 is really expensive.
okay. So that also was there. It got a lot of people's attention. The auto show was full as far as journalists and other
The
people.
press
Some people were
conferences
pushing.
were full.
Yeah, there's a variety of different people out there. Interesting mix of people let in for the press days. I'm doing air quotes for press days because press days become like a brother, sisters, uncle gets in instead. It's weird combination of stuff. So that was the LA Auto Show. Again, not huge news there, but a couple of key things. The Forester looked pretty good. I thought super did a good job. Although the floor was making me sick.
Oh God, yeah. So
I thought I was drunk. Holy
posted
cow.
a TikTok of the floor, and like you're standing on the floor and it's just like the floor is like moving and then it goes onto the screen. It was like a virtual reality ride. Like, and even though you weren't moving, like you felt like you were moving. It was definitely very trippy. But I posted a TikTok of that, just of 30 seconds of the floor moving, and I'm like, this is trippy.
Right. So we were all pressed against, like, not pressed, but we were all against these ropes that were leading to the real floor. And imagine the floor below you was a digital display, and a digital display tied into the rest of the display. So the floor is actually moving around you. It was really, really bizarre. It just,
Cool. It was very cool. But
I had to stop looking down. I was gonna throw
yeah,
up. I don't know if I told you that. I had to stop looking down. I was like, I'm getting sick now. I gotta look up. I can't look down. It was really something.
it made me dizzy. It definitely was making me
It
dizzy.
was woo, it was something. All right, so let's wrap this up. 4 minutes
Okay.
left. Thankful for. I kind of did think for because Thanksgiving.
Mhm.
So are we thankful for anything? I'm thankful for being home, I think. I imagine you're doing that too.
Yeah,
Thankful
I'm
for that.
thankful that like I don't really have any travel on my agenda for the rest of the year. So I'm
Mhm.
thankful that I can go and spend time with my family in Indianapolis. I'm very thankful for that. As some of you may know, my dad is not well, and I haven't spent enough time there recently. So I'm
Yeah,
glad.
yeah, I'm thankful being home too. I mean, I think it's something that people don't understand with this job is or the career or whatever you want to call it. Is that yes, we get to travel a lot, and yes,
Mhm.
we get to see lots of things. But what we want most is to be home sometimes. If you've not done business travel before, business travel sounds amazing, and then you start doing it a little bit, and you're like, this is pretty cool. Then you start living out of the closet, and you're like, wait a minute, what just happened? And Jill does it better than I do because I have a family and my travel is a little bit more nuts getting to the airport and stuff. But I mean, travel does wear you down. I mean, especially for you, you did Rebel Rally, then you did Spain, then you did
Yeah,
LA, then you
the last 2 months have been really hard because, like, there's 2 weeks for Rebel, then the week in Spain, and then the week in LA, and so the last couple months have been hard.
yeah, I think that's what I'm thinking for. I'm thinking we're being home. Usually, what happens is December is pretty slow, and then the 2 weeks after Christmas are dead. Audubey's on Christmas break, and so that's the one time of year that I feel like parts of July and the end of Christmas is basically forced vacation. Like it's basically forced vacation. It's just you can make up, a variety of weird posts or stories that don't make any sort of sense
Or
because you're
you
just
can do a random EV rant the day before Christmas that goes
right.
viral.
Yeah. So last year, Jill did a EV rant story about charging, and it went viral on the website. It took off. And
Yeah,
Jill's like texting me over the break. I'm not break. I'm never off. I own the business, so I'm never off. But she's like texting me, and I'm like, I know. Then each day we're like texting each other, like, do you believe this? LinkedIn. I think that was like the biggest LinkedIn impression thing I've ever
I
seen. I
know.
mean, your
Well, I
numbers
was
were
like,
just off the chart.
I told you, I was like, I'm going to do this story. I don't think it's going to do anything, but I just have to get this off my chest because I'm so angry. And if you haven't read it, you should, because it's called An Open Letter to Anybody Creating an EV Charging Station. And I was so angry, and like I don't know why that took off, but holy snikey!
It took way off. So if you haven't seen that, I mean, it's quite the story. And I'm also thankful for.
Oh, 100,000 subscribers. Yes, we're
Yeah.
thankful for all of you.
Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah, that's big news. I mean, 40 million views, 100,000 subscribers. People get the website every day too. The website's still, we've taken a hit with the helpful content update in quotes, helpful content update, which is BS from Google. But we've had a good year. I think it's been another solid year for the channel, solid year for the business, and we can't do this without you guys. We have to have you guys. That's the reality is we have to have you, even though. Sometimes we read your comments rather to turn the comments off, but we have to have you.
Just don't comment on the pink shoes that I'm wearing. Leave them alone. They're fine.
Exactly.
Or my clothes. Don't comment on my clothes. Or the fact that I'm not wearing makeup. I don't want to hear that either.
Right. So
Or
yeah, don't comment.
I don't want to talk about that either.
Yeah, don't have my red face. Yes, I mumble. Yes, I talk fast. I am working on all that stuff.
Hybrid.
I work on all my faults. I get it. I'm constantly aware of that. Trust me. You put yourself out there in the public eye enough, you hear everything. But that's what happens. All right. Have a happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Or if you don't celebrate, have a good piece of turkey. I don't know. That's all I got for you there. Check out the website, pickuptrucktalk.com. Always more details going on there. There's always more information there. Check it out as well. Check out the channel. More videos always on the channel. Again, we have 13 videos. I have to edit 13 videos. That's not counting the videos we're shooting the next couple days. So content coming your way, yo, bro. Watch.
I think at least 2 of those videos are mine. So unfortunately, the other 11 are his. But you know.
I know, and I have much more to shoot. Swede's got some new updates and things are happening, so I have lots of stuff going on. All right, as always, happy Thanksgiving, everybody, and we will see you down the road.